In the Central Plains, Lloyd was thinking on how to fulfill the need of those centaurs. He said, I have no idea what to do. Should I teach them the Azrahan core techniques so they can fly with Aura Blast? Javier replied, you already know they won't accept that, don't you? The centaurs wanted to become faster with their running. Javier added, also, we should probably think about whether or not making them faster is a good thing in the first place. As you already saw, both the old and the young have injuries all over their bodies. They are all victims of the competition to become the fastest. Hearing that made Lloyd think. In his mind, now that he mentions it, Sharonin said it yesterday, that no matter how small the quarrel is, they always resolve it with race, especially when it's a competition for a female centaur. They would go absolutely crazy and run at full speed. That would create a literal chaotic mess. He remembers the time when Sharonin said that everyone keeps talking about speed, but speed isn't everything. Lloyd starts thinking deeply. In his mind, the legendary light-speed human will resolve their speed problem. Resolve, think. Wait, resolving the issue doesn't only mean making their faster, right? On the other hand, there is some thug-like guy who was hitting at Sharonin. He called Sharonin while giving her a flower. He said, Sharonin, accept my marriage proposal already. Sharonin, who was quite annoyed by this guy presence, just takes a sigh. This thug-like bastard laughs and shows off his tongue like a perverted bastard. He said, there you go again, acting like you don't enjoy this. I am the unified champion of the centaurs Komanchi. All the women are dying for my love. I seriously doubt you are not the same. Am I wrong? Komanchi grabs the hand of Sharonin. He said, stop acting all pure and let's go for a race date among the flowers. This made Sharonin angry and kick him in the stomach. Sharonin shouted, you bastard. I told you not to touch me, didn't I? This made Komanchi cough from that kick. Sharonin said, didn't I tell you I hate people like you who trust nothing but their own speed? Komanchi angrily replied, being fast is all that matters. What more is needed? Even Chieftain Cherokee has acknowledged me as his son-in-law. Why are you rejecting me? Komanchi forcibly grabs Sharonin this time and he shouted, do you think your father will sit by and do nothing if he knows you are acting like this? Just marry me, the next chieftain quietly. Then some guy grabs the shoulder of Komanchi. This guy looks like a protagonist in the series. The guy said, stop it, you are making her uncomfortable. Seeing his Prince Charming protecting her, Sharonin's heart suddenly beats so fast and she stutter while mentioning the name of the guy as Schumo. But this delinquent bastard, Komanchi, instead of getting annoyed, he starts laughing at Schumo. Then Komanchi starts taunting Schumo. He laughs and said, snail bastard, are you trying to be a busybody again? You are not sick of doing this, huh? Can't you hear how they scorn you? You have lost to me 8 times already. Don't you know someone as slow as you doesn't deserve to talk to me? Then Komanchi, pointing at Sharonin, who was silent at this time, said, see, even she has given up on your side. Komanchi starts laughing again. He said, look at him averting his eyes. You are just someone who loses to anyone. Stop interfering others' affairs. Even though Schumo was disgraced by Komanchi, he didn't even say anything to protect himself because he had already lost to everyone in the race. Hearing Komanchi and his lackeys laughing out loud made Lloyd annoyed. In his mind, those bastards, I don't like them a bit. Those guys are in total doom because we all know what happened to those people who annoyed Lloyd. As the sun slowly sets down, Sharonin approached Schumo and called him. She said, Schumo, I am sorry for just now. If I took your side just now, the two of you were going to race each other again. Then I would have to. But Schumo didn't let Sharonin finish her sentence because he didn't want Sharonin to blame herself. Schumo said, I am the one who is supposed to be sorry. It is because I am slow. I am unable to convince anyone. That is why the chieftain hasn't acknowledged me yet. Sharonin said, who says you are slow? I know that you are fast, that you are the fastest in this world. Schumo, who was ashamed of himself, told Sharonin that he had never won in a single race before. Sharonin stand her ground. She said, I don't care about something like that. I am going to marry you. I don't care about my father's acknowledgement. I am the one who likes you. Schumo told Sharonin that he didn't like it that way. Hearing that hurt the feelings of Sharonin and tears start falling in her eyes. Schumo added, no one would congratulate the marriage of someone who always loses like me. I really hate Komanchi, but you should at least meet someone who is fast. You should meet someone that you can be proud of. Someone you can proudly say is your man." Then Schumo slowly walks away without even looking back. Hearing that words from Schumo, who is the one that she loves, made Sharonin cry. She didn't even have the courage to say a word of comfort. But Sharonin wasn't given enough screen time for her emotions or to cry hard because the love expert suddenly appeared. The love expert who doesn't even know that the queen already has feelings for her. Lloyd asks, "May I ask, what is going on here?" Then Sharonin starts talking everything out with Lloyd. They start walking while talking. Sharonin said, "Schumo is fast." "I am serious." Lloyd replied, "Yeah, I'm sure he is much faster than anyone." Sharonin asks, "How would you know that? You have never even seen him run." Lloyd proudly replied, "Call it my instincts. The shape of his head looks like he runs fast." In Lloyd's mind, even though the story settings of this world hasn't appeared in the novel, it will eventually appear from the author of the Iron Blood Knight's mind. In that case, he must have been named Schumo for some reason. Sharonin said, "No matter how fast Schumo is, no one cares about personal records. They only care about how much of a gap they won on the race." Lloyd asks, "Is he unable to use his full speed in a race? He is the kind that gets nervous?" Sharonin said, "No, that is not it. A few months ago, the same thing happened, like today. Both of them were about to have an impromptu race based on our tradition, with a slingshot as a sign for the start of the race. They both run as fast as they can, but Schumo encounter a child eating a candy on the road, which is why he forcefully slow himself. Schumo avoid the kid and he falls down. On the other hand, Komanchi was trying to chase down Schumo. Seeing Schumo falls down made Sharon in shock. On the other hand, instead of slowing down to avoid the child, Komanchi runs crazy and didn't mind the kid on the road. Schumo got injured, but the child was even more injured. That is what always happened. Schumo is kind. Compared to winning the race and marrying me, he is more concerned about making sure that no one around him gets injured." Lloyd asks, "If someone was injured, was there no one who objected to the race? Wouldn't the centaurs who had nothing to do with the race not like that?" Sharonin's tears start falling. She said, "No, centaurs put their lives on the line when it comes to tradition. They must kept no matter what. What kind of stupid tradition is that?" Lloyd smiled and said, "Don't be too angry. I am sure there is a reason why the tradition is kept." Sharonin angrily said, "What does an outsider like you know? What kind of reason could there be?" Lloyd smirked and replied, "Because they are brainless idiots." Hearing that made Sharonin silent. Lloyd said, "Oh, did I just read your mind? Sorry, but what is your ranking in terms of speed?" Sharonin said, "I am number 2. Number 1 was my dad, but after he retired, that obnoxious Komanchi became number 1. Lloyd smiled and said, "Aha! So excluding the chieftain and the current number 1, the rest have to listen to you then?" Sharonin was sweating because this guy looks like a scammer. Sharonin said, "Well, that is supposed to be the case. That depends on the situation. If I try to do something like been running, Komanchi or my dad can just overturn it by objecting." Lloyd said, "I want to make a request to you. Please gather all your tribe members in one place." He smiled and confidently said, "I will uproot the evil practice completely and make Schumo the fastest champion of the centaurs." Lloyd is now cooking another well-planned event.